Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Advanced Crystal Beast deck. This deck was suggested by ProtoKReb. He actually named Dark Crystal Beast, but I assume he meant this, which is what Dark Crystal Beasts are known as, Advanced Crystal Beast. The idea behind this deck is that you use Advanced Dark to make all your Crystal Beasts dark, send them to the graveyard, and summon Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon. Generally, Rainbow Dragon works a lot better with this deck than Rainbow Dark Dragon, and I'll get into that when I get into the deck. So it's a pretty standard, Crystal Beast build otherwise. I know probably people will want to see like a regular Crystal Beast build for me, and I will definitely do one sometime in the future, but for now, this is just the Dark Crystal Beast that was requested of me. So triple Sapphire Pegasus, obviously for this deck, amazing. Triple Topaz Tiger, a very good beater. Two Amber Mammoths can be decently useful. Two of all the other Crystal Beasts, they all have some uses. Ruby Carbuncle can be useful for some situations. The other ones aren't as good, but you're running two of them because to get Rainbow Dragon out, you can't, chance it. You really need to run two, in case one gets banished or something like that. But other than that, pretty normal Crystal Beast build. Two Rainbow Dragons, obviously the boss of this deck. Very difficult to get out, but you can get it out with this deck without too much trouble. Obviously, you have cards here that'll help you get Crystal Beasts to the graveyard. And then we have Hamon. So one Hamon, obviously a useful boss in Crystal Beasts. Very good in this type of deck because you can send your Crystal Beast to the graveyard and then summon out Rainbow Dragon, which is very nice. You can start to fill your deck. It's very important when you're using all these like Crystal Beast cards to make sure you're setting up the graveyard in a way where you can summon what you need. And then one Malefic Rainbow Dragon, another card that you can get out decently easy on top of what you're already doing. And then Advanced Dark. So this card's really cool. Whenever you're going to take battle damage, you could just negate it and then send a Crystal Beast to the graveyard. So this card lets you fill out your graveyard very nicely and keeps you being able to defend yourself for a little while you're building up to these big bosses. And then we have like the normal Crystal Beast staple magic cards, Crystal Release, very good, Crystal Promise, Crystal Beacon, Crystal Blessing, one Crystal Abundance in case you can, pull off the OTK or just go for big damage. Rare Value, really good. MST, Dark Hole, so pretty much normal spell setup for Crystal Beast. Obviously, if I wasn't running Advanced Dark, I'd probably be running the other field card. But I'll talk about that when I get to the side deck. For traps, you want to run very, very few traps in this deck. So I'm only running the summoning traps. Torrential Tribute, very, very good in this deck. Solemn Warning and Bottomless Trap Hole are more of a choice. I'm running them because they're very easy to use, so I think it's very useful to run them, obviously. Nice to be able to get rid of some of your opponent's stronger summons. So for the extra deck, we're just going to have a lot of 4 and 3-star XYZs. Lightning Chidori, very easy to get out in this deck, and a very powerful XYZ. Fairy King, another option that's not that hard to get out. With all the XYZs, you got to keep in mind how easy they are to detach, so you can start filling up your graveyard for Rainbow Dragon. Gagaga Cowboy, always useful. Diamond Dire Wolf, Blackship, Lavalval Chain, very, very important in this deck because if you're like one Crystal Beast short or you're 2 Crystal Beast short, you can use this to fuel your graveyard very easily. And then some other 3 stars, Zenmaines, Leviair, and then 4 stars, Maestroke, Photon. These are mostly staple ones you'd expect to see. I'm running Crazy Box, just for fun kind of, but also nice to have that 3000 attack to defend you for a little bit. And because you're able to make all the Crystal Beasts dark, you can run Master Key Beetle, which is useful for protecting your field cards, so they kind of work with each other that way. So for the side decks in my videos are just recommended cards that also work with the main deck. It isn't necessarily a side deck for matches. So Dark Arm Dragon, you can run this because of Advanced Dark, but it's a bit, chancy based on what you're doing. Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings, kind of like Hamon, can also be very useful for getting stuff to the graveyard. Summoner Monk can be very, very useful in Crystal Beasts. I probably would run this if I wasn't running as many Crystal Beasts as I am, just because of how my deck works. I don't really want to put any more monsters in it. One of the other alternatives to running this deck is you can run like Light Sworns and mill everything from the deck and then just activate Rainbow Dragon. But that's kind of a weird setup, but if you guys want to try it, it can be really interesting. If you want to run the Synchros, you can run like Blackwing Gale and have like Black Rose to nuke the field and get all your cards to the graveyard or in the spell trap zone, whatever you want to do. Destiny Hero Diamond Dude is actually really interesting for this deck because you use a lot of normal spell cards. So this can be useful to start kind of milling through your deck and kind of figuring out what you need and activating those spell cards. Lightning Vortex and other discard cards can be really useful for filling up your graveyard. If you weren't running Advanced Dark, if you're doing a more traditional Crystal Beast, you'll obviously run their field card, Rainbow Ruins. Forbidden Lance, very close to putting this in to protect your boss monsters. Very, very useful, although it can be annoying that it can fill up the spell zone. Emergency Provisions also very good for getting your spells to the graveyard to summon Rainbow Dragon or to use some of the other spell cards and get some life points while you're at it. And then some of the other traps, again, you don't want to really run too many traps in this deck, but some of the ones you can use are like Crystal Counter, which is good for doing the same thing, filling up your graveyard. Rainbow Gravity is a really interesting one, useful with certain deck types, really useful with the Lightsworn build that I was talking about because you can mill Rainbow Dragon and still use it, which is really interesting. Rainbow Path, another really interesting one that just allows you to kind of search out Rainbow Dragon, but currently not what I'm running. Crystal Pear is also another interesting one that just allows you to kind of like protect yourself and fill up your spell trap zone. And Crystal Regiki, again, another way to send your spells to the graveyard and also destroy one of your opponent's cards while you're at it, so interesting choice. So as you can see, this is the Dark Crystal Beast archetype, more of a fun deck. I'm not running Rainbow Dark Dragon. If you want to run Rainbow Dark Dragon, you can go for it. If you're going to run that, you should probably run more Dark Monsters in addition. But again, this is more of a fun Crystal Beast build, not meant to be super competitive. When I make a real Crystal Beast deck in the future, it might be, stronger, more competitive. It's just that Rainbow Dragon is not really worth getting out with how hard it is to get him out. But, if you want to run Dark Crystal Beast, this is kind of the only way to do it. Like, there aren't a lot of other support that you can really use for Dark Crystal Beast. Hopefully, maybe they'll add some actual like Dark Crystal Beast cards in the future or something like that that can make you use this archetype in an interesting way. But if you guys have your own Crystal Beast deck, your own Dark Crystal Beasts, you can post below. Let me know in the comments, suggest cards, that kind of thing. If you like this video, you can subscribe or hit the like button. You can also check out the playlists that are in the description. One of them has a list of all the decks I've made so far. One of them has a list of all the decks I've made for this ban list. You can also see my contact info in the description. If you want to talk to me, tweet me, follow me on Twitter, get updates, all that kind of stuff. You can check that out with the description. Thank you for the request for this deck. Hopefully I, did what you wanted, because I was kind of confused because you said Dark Crystal Beast, and I didn't put Rainbow Dark Dragon in this deck because I just didn't feel like it worked as well as Rainbow Dragon. But, yep, thank you for the request. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.